When life changes suddenly, whether it's early retirement, relocation to another city or a country, or leaving behind a familiar rhythm, what hits the hardest isn't the loss of structure, it's a change in speed. I went from constant movement in Mexico, full of projects, noise, and daily stimulation, to near stillness when I came back to Canada. It forced me to realize how much of my identity was built on motion and distraction. The first step in adapting is acceptance, not the cliche kind. Acceptance isn't approval, it's decision to stop arguing with what's already real. Research in behavioral psychology shows that resistance to current reality maintains anxiety and delay in adaptation. The mind keeps burning energy on what was rather than recalibrating it to what is. When you stop fighting the fact that life has slowed down, that things look different, you recover bandwidth. That energy can then be redirected toward actual adjustment, not towards nostalgia about the past. Any major life shift disrupts the brain's reward system. You lose the predictable cues that used to trigger dopamine. The deadlines, the meetings, the pleasant interactions. The loss feels like loss of motivation. It's not depression, although it might feel like one, but it's recalibration. The trick is not to chase the same kind of stimulation in a new setting, but gradually build tolerance for less intensity. This is called downshifting the arousal baseline, the process of retraining your nervous system to find satisfaction in smaller, slower inputs. When I left Mexico, I had to adapt. I'd been living very high-paced, overstimulating life with noise, constant projects. And when I came to Canada, everything stopped. And at first, the quiet felt like psychological death, like void. No social noise to fill the gaps. You start realizing how dependent you've become on distraction, not because you love chaos, but because it kept you from facing stillness. Adjusting to a slower pace isn't embracing peace. It's about retraining your mind to tolerate it. That means learning to sit with what feels like boredom until it becomes neutrality, and later comfort. So you fill the space deliberately, cooking something from scratch, reading a real book, learning how to dance, going for bike rides. It's not about the hobbies themselves. It's about rebuilding tolerance for calm and control over your own attention. You need to slowly rewrite them towards smaller, steadier rewards, the kind that come from focus, completion, and self-directed action. You don't choose a slower life because it matters. You do it because it's the only way forward. Because constant motion isn't sustainable, and rebuilding requires stillness. The next step is giving yourself time, actual time to rediscover what holds your interest. Because at first, nothing will feel pleasing. That might sound simple, but if you've spent decades operating on external validation or structured purpose, it's a slow process. The mind needs neutral zone before new motivations emerge. That's a documented phase in psychology. You can't rush it. In practice, it means accepting that for months, maybe longer, you won't feel driven. That's not a failure, although it might feel like one. It's a reset process itself. Adapting after change isn't about reinvention. It's about recalibration. If you frame it as escape, you'll recreate the same burnout somewhere else. If you frame it as adaptation, you start noticing stability again. And with that, purpose reappears on its own. Thank you for being with me. My name is Gaia Kairos, and I will see you in the next video. Saying goodbye to my piece that's going to a loving home in British Columbia. I am the conclusion of my ancestors' story. I am the prologue to my descendants' story.